to the Liberty Reports training series. In today's video, we will be discussing the DBLookup function included with the Liberty Reports software. In today's demonstration, we're starting with a basic query that has pulled a list of GL transactions. Notice that the vendor column lists only the ID and not the name. We'll be using the DBLookup function to pull the vendor name from the AP vendor table for this list of GL transactions. The DBLookup function for Liberty Reports is designed to return the value for a specified column in the row uniquely identified by the table's primary key. The easiest way to use one of the Liberty Reports functions is to select the cell in which you wish the returned value to be displayed. Then select the Function Wizard button located in the Liberty Reports ribbon. Doing so brings up a list of our commonly used Liberty Reports functions. If we select a specific function, like DBLookup, we are presented with a description of the purpose of the function, as well as the proper syntax of how the formula will appear upon completion of the wizard. Once we've selected the DBLookup function, we can click Next, and we're presented with a list of the available database tables for our existing connection. In this example, we are connecting to a Sage 100 contractor database, and since we are wanting the AP vendor name, we will select the AP vendor table and click Next. We're then presented with a list of columns, from which we will select vendor name and click Next. We're now prompted to select the primary key from our GL transaction query that will be used to complete the DBLookup function. We'll leave the type as cell reference, but note that we could also use a literal value. Then we can use the cell selector tool to select the first cell that contains the AP vendor ID from our original query. Clicking Next brings us to the final stage of the function wizard, which provides options for the column layout, namely, should the columns display left to right or top to bottom, whether or not to include column captions, which would insert the column name along with our function results, and the option to fill the formulas down should the function be inserted adjacent to an existing query or function. Since we are only returning one value in our example, we'll leave the layout set to left to right. We don't really need to include the column captions, so we'll go ahead and turn that option off. And since we do want this function to populate for our entire query, we'll leave the option to fill down formulas selected. Once we're done with our changes and we click Finish, we're presented with the vendor name for each GL transaction. Notice that since we left the Fill Down Formulas option selected, our resulting function has automatically populated for each query result. Were we to refresh the query and a different result set was returned, the adjacent function would automatically update with the new results. This concludes this segment of the Liberty Reports training series on the DBLookup function. Thanks for watching. We hope you found the information useful.